All right. Hope everyone's doing well. Hello, my name is Jonathan. I am once again your teacher for PLAR History and Geography. It is Tuesday, the 4th of April, on this beautiful evening and afternoon. We're entering week number 8 of this term, which means that we are almost done for this term, term 2A, which means that after today's class, we will have only 3 classes left for this term 2A, which means that next week on Thursday, we will wrap up this course and boom, we'll start the fun again the following week after that. So again, this is PLAR History and Geography. I'm your teacher, Jonathan. We're live right now here at WASA in Sulico. As always, feel free to call in the WASA studio, either at home or at your learning center or parts unknown. Again, you can simply listen and participate live in class right now at this very moment. Again, students, class, you can always get in touch with me, your teacher, by phone call. Again, just simply call during my office hours. By email, jho@nnec.on.ca, or by Facebook, social media. You can find me as a friend at jhowasa as well. So again, keep working on your assignments. I highly encourage you. If you are stuck, you know where to find me. I'm always here to help you. Yesterday, I was in Bearskin Lake for our community visit. Myself and Ruby went for a little day trip. It was a great trip. Not so great weather, I didn't have a great turnout, but again, it was still great. It was my first time in Bearskin Lake. Had a fantastic tour of the community. We brought donuts and muffins. We had juice boxes and cookies. And Tracy did a fantastic job of hosting a little open house there. So again, saw, made a phone call for a few students in Bearskin, so nice to chat with them. Again, potential grads, you know who you are. Hopefully you can finish up. And for all my PLAR students, again, just continue where you left off. Continue to work on your assignments, whether it's history or geography or both. Get them done. We have one more term left to be. Again, we're almost at the end. So again, just keep working on where you left off. Again, if you have missed any content, again, you can find it on the archive page or on my YouTube page as well. Again, hopefully you have your textbook and your workbook. If you have lost it or misplaced it or your dog ate it, again, let me know. Talk to your DUC. We can simply get you a brand new copy for absolutely for free. Again, just let us know. Talk to myself or your DUC. Again, we'll just print one off and give it to you and just continue where you left off. And again, we all know you're busy. The long weekend's coming up. But again, keep chipping away at your assignments, okay? Keep chipping away at your assignments. Again, just a reminder, please log on to Smart Bridget right now. That way you can see what I'm seeing live in class. And again, if you want a USB stick with all the lessons and contents, and I can get that to you absolutely for free on the Express as well. Again, lots of ways to engage in our class, whether it's IL, Smart Bridget. Again, very, very fun. Today, again, have any questions, just let me know. Again, call in the studio right now. Don't hesitate, do it. Call in, say hello, so that we can learn together. Today, over the next 60 minutes, we will just continue where we left off from last week. We are currently, again, looking at geography lesson number 5. We're just continuing where we left off in terms of physical geography. Today, we're starting on page 47 in your textbook. Let's write this out. Page 47. Again, on my screen, I have our learning goals and our success criteria. Again, if you are live in class, we can create our learning goals and our success criteria together, co-construct them. So again, hopefully you can come to class and we can make these goals together and see where you want to achieve, what you want to learn, and what you want to get out from this course. But at the moment, no one's online. That's okay. I just have added our learning goals and our success criteria ahead of time. So today we're looking at and learning about, we're just expanding our knowledge and understanding about what is a region. We'll be looking at weather. Okay, we'll define weather. We'll define climate. And hopefully by the end of today's class, you will know the difference between each one. And we'll be looking at trees, okay, different types of trees, and I will try to integrate some indigenous content along with that. For our success criteria, we can say we can define a functional region. Again, we'll be able to know the difference between a weather and a climate. We'll be able to explain different types of trees, deciduous and coniferous trees, and explain the characteristics of Canada's ecozones. So yes, that's the direction we are heading in today's class. And at the end, we'll be looking at your next assignment, which is assignment number 13. Okay, again, just a couple questions, couple definitions. Again, question 1 asks, what is a functional region? Question number 2 asks you to explain the difference between weather and climate. Question 3 and 4 talks about trees. You are to give examples of characteristics of a deciduous and a coniferous tree, and define ecozone. And on the very last page of that assignment, you will see a chart. And for that chart, you are to look at any 4 ecozone that you want. You will define its name, its location, which landform it consists of, the climate within that ecozones, different wildlife and animals, and impact, okay, human interference within that ecozone. So that's where we're heading today. Again, nothing new. We'll still look at the same expectations in terms of writing incomplete and full complete sentences. Again, if you're still unsure, just let me know and we can guide you in the right direction. Again, your textbook will start on the bottom of page 47, where it says functional region in capital and bolded letters. Again, that's where we'll start for today, and we'll just go through the next couple of slides. Okay, so hopefully you can open up to those pages, and we can get started with our lesson. And then hopefully, again, as always, I will provide class with time at the end to work on your assignments in class, and a chance to ask questions and to reflect as well. All right. What is a functional region? Well, in your textbook, it defines it as this. Defines and often develop around a center and a focal point. It can be anything that is booming. Okay, often a big major city. A functional region has a focal point, again, often a city, and it is organized with space surrounding that it has a center location, often a place where people gather and meet. So in your community, it could be a center, a community center, or a hockey rink where everyone gathers for particular events. But again, we can also expand that definition and look at, again, big cities. It could be New York, Chicago, LA, Toronto, Thunder Bay, Winnipeg. Again, often a functional region includes market areas that has stores, schools, and other activities. So again, you can classify Silicon as a functional region as well, as we have our rec center, we have a grocery store called Johnny's, we have Giant Tigers, we have Timmy's. So again, we can always expand that definition as well. Again, I gave the example of a national park, Banff National Park out in Alberta. We can also classify Quebec Falls, which is just on the outskirts of Thunder Bay, as a functional region as well. Again, all those tourist areas, activities. Our airport in town, Silico Airport, could be a functional region as people travel in and out of town. Again, we have Toronto, and we have on my screen the Fort William Gardens, where the LU Thunderwolves play hockey and other activities there as well. So any activity or region can be found as a functional region. Again, you can expand that knowledge. You can make it bigger or smaller depending on how you feel. Okay, so anything that's functional, it could have a newspaper. Again, in town, we have the bulletin, which is our newspaper. Any headquarters, any transportation, any place that has cell phone service can be considered a functional region. So again, our task right here, class, is to be able to define what is a functional region. Sure, feel free to add some example as well, but we need to define what is a functional region, and that is right here, often developed around a center and a focal point. I often give the example of a national park, so I'm going to stick with that example. So on my next slide, I got an example of national parks. Again, this is not in your textbook, but again, this is just an example, one example of a national park. On my screen, if you can't see it, log on to Smart Bridget, and then you can see it. Okay, because again, this picture is not in your textbook, but again, if you log on to Smart Bridget or just visualize it, you can see it. So on my screen, I have a map of Canada. It has red dots on it. Those red dots indicate historical or national historical parks or sites, but anything that's in green are Canada's national park. As you can see, we have many national parks here in Canada. Some are bigger than other. National parks takes up about 10% of our land surface. So again, it's pretty big. We have 39 national parks, not including provincial parks for that matter. National parks are great for tourists, ecological, ecosystem protection, knowledge, understanding. It has breathtaking sceneries and even some Aboriginal historical knowledge as well. It's how we link nature and culture and how we treat nature in our expression towards our society. So again, check it out. Again, this is 2017, which marked Canada's 150th year. Again, if you have your Discovery Pass, which you can order online for free, you can access any national historical parks absolutely for free. So again, hopefully we can take advantage of that. Again, down the road we have Ojibwe National Park. So again, that should be absolutely for free when we enter this year. So again, just a reminder, we want to be able to define what is a functional region. Next, weather. We're going to define weather, give some example of what is weather. So weather is, again, this is also on page 47, by the way, in your textbook. Weather is defined as the day-to-day condition of our atmospheric condition of the air in a particular place on a particular date. Basically, you can ask yourself, what is it like outside? So again, open the door or the window in your community, and what is it like in your community right now? Yesterday, when I was in Bearskin Lake, the weather was not pleasing. It was still winter-like. It was raining with flurries on and off throughout the whole day. But here in Silico, as I look out my window in the studio, it is still sunny and it is still awesome. Pretty nice Again, not super warm, not super cold, but again, spring is on the horizon, which is fantastic. We can bust out our windbreaker, spring jacket. But again, weather is all about the temperature. What is it like outside? Is it sunny? Is it windy, snowing, raining, cloudy? All that is defined as weather. What is happening at a particular moment on a particular day? In other words, the short-term factors. As we know, weather can change hourly, even by the minute. Meteorologists wants to study the atmosphere and to use that information to analyze and to forecast the weather. They do this because it helps us every day based on helps us to drive and for traveling as well. So let's take a moment here. I'll open up the browser. We'll throw on the weather network and we can see what the weather will be like for tomorrow, the next day, and even next week. But again, just remember, weather is what is happening on a particular day. So again, I'm not no meteorologist, but according to the Weather Network, tonight it's supposed to drop down to -4. Tomorrow morning should be sunny with a -3. And in the afternoon, we should hit a high of +5. So again, pretty pleasing. It is calling for some wet snow, rain, flurries on this weekend. But as we know, weather can change. But again, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday looks awesome. Should hit a high of 12 on Friday. So again, lots of sunny, and we'll see whether or not we'll have some wet activities this coming weekend. But again, as we know, like I said, whether it was what's happening at this particular moment on this particular day, it can change at any given point. So again, take a moment right now, look outside in your community. What is the weather like? Hopefully you can classify what is weather using our definition of what is weather. So weather and climate are two absolutely different things. So let's take the time now, class, to define weather. Sorry, climate. Climate, sorry. Easier for me to say. Climate is defined as the average of all weather conditions. Okay, what climate is not what is happening right now, but it is the average condition over an entire year, or even a decade, or even centuries. It is the average weather of a particular area that is happening. It does not describe any particular date or events of its weather condition. In other words, I like to call climate the long-term effects. So as we know here in Sulagao, the average weather for April, again, is supposed to be spring-like condition-ish. Again, we still could have some snow, we never know. But again, at this point throughout the year, things are supposed to transition into spring-like condition. But you never know. Next year on April 4th, it could be a giant blizzard outside. Or it could be super warm out. We never know. But again, the average of this time of year should be what it's like today, give or take. So hopefully that helps distinguish the difference between weather and climate. Okay? Hint, hint, long-term and short-term conditions. Moving along, we'll look at our next topic, which means that we're still on the bottom of page 47. Don't worry, we will flip the page very, very soon. But right now, we're going to talk about trees. Yes, trees. Different types of trees and why they are significant based on their characteristics. We're going to look at two types of trees, coniferous trees and number two, deciduous tree. We're not going to look closely at any particular type of trees, but classify them coniferous and deciduous. So let's look at what they are and how we can know based on their characteristics. Again, I am not a tree expert. Again, this is just in your textbook, and we're just going over these content. A coniferous tree or coniferous forest, well, simple. Hopefully you have some of these trees in your community. They have cone, they have needle-like leaves. So any tree that has a cone or pine cone or needle-like leaves are considered a coniferous tree or coniferous forest. Again, they produce these seeds called cones, pine cones. They often thrive in cold climates. They often stay green all year long. So as you see a tree right now that's green, kind of like a Christmas tree with pine cones and spikes on it and needle-likes on it. Yes, it is a coniferous tree. They are also called evergreen because they stay green all year long. We do have lots of these trees here in Canada, especially in our northern communities. It could be our cedar, pine, or our spruce tree, just to name a few. But again, some of the characteristics is that they have needle-like leaves and they produce cones, pine cones, and they actually thrive in cold climate. Great for making paper as well. Flipping the page in your textbook to the next page, page 48, you'll see deciduous tree. Deciduous tree. Deciduous trees or deciduous forests are trees that change color based on the leaves, and their leaves fall to the ground in the fall season. So again, there we go. Just some characteristics of a deciduous tree. They shred their leaves in the fall. They like hot, warm summer, short winter. They can grow all 4 seasons, but they often need good soil to grow. Some can argue that only a few deciduous trees are left, since a lot of clear cutting, and urban development are taking place. Again, some examples are birch tree, oak tree, and a maple tree, just to name a few, are examples of a deciduous tree. Great for hardwood. Again, in the springtime, and especially in the fall time, they lose their leaves and change color. Could be red, yellow, orange, brown. Again, we get out a rake and rake our lawns, again, because of these deciduous trees. Again, class and students, our goal here, again, not to memorize all the different types of trees, but just to know some of the characteristics of each one. Okay, deciduous and a coniferous tree. How are they different? What makes them stand out? Do they lose their leaves? Do they change colors? Do they have cones or needle-like leaves? Just to name a few. Again, you will see these questions again on your next assignment coming up. Lastly, before we move on from trees, I want to tie in some indigenous content. First Nations, again, a lot of our students, PLAR students, and even students here at WASA, even students here in our community of Sioux Lookout are First Nations. Okay, our First Nation. They use tree as a model for learning. Okay, again, this applies for all of our students, not just my students, not just our PLAR students, but all students as well. So tree symbolize growth. Okay, symbolize growth. We want to start from the bottom, look at the roots, as roots indicates our community, ourselves, our family, and our ancestors. It even consists of our land and our language. Okay, those are our foundations as they are our roots. Again, the two L's and the two C's, the land, the language, community, and culture. Those are our roots. Again, those are our foundation. Those are our source of knowledge. But as we grow, again, we branch out into the trunk of the tree, and then we branch out into different branches. Okay, the trunk of the tree can be consist of our collective well-being as the individual, and different branches as we reach out with our learning and growth. It can be simplified as spiritual, cultural, social factors, economics, and political factors as well. But again, we learn all this as well. Again, we need to grow as we grow from the rain and water. We learn from our elders, our educators, our teachers, our parents, and our community members as well. So again, we're all lifelong learners. We never stop learning. All about equity and qualities, maintaining our foundations, who we are, our self-identity, and as we grow together. Again, we learn in a collective, collaborative environment. Again, even though I'm your teacher, Jonathan, for this course, PLAR History and Geography, I am just here as your facilitator. I'm just here to guide you in the right direction. Again, I'm just here to provide you tools that you need to be successful in this course and after this course as well. So again, just keep that in mind as well. Again, students, you're just not empty vessels that I'm trying to fill, but again, I'm just here to guide you, give you tools on how to be successful in this course and as we grow to be lifelong learners as well. So again, that's how First Nation used the model of trees as lifelong learning as their model. But that's enough about trees. We're going to move on about trees. Again, we want to just focus on the different characteristics of trees, but again, keeping that mindset of how we grow just like a tree. Moving along once again, we're going to look at our last and final topic for today, and then we'll give the class a bit of time to work on your assignment, the next assignment, or any outstanding assignments, and to give you a chance to ask questions as well. Anything you want to ask, it could be about this course, or anything about your day. We can just talk, discuss, we can reflect. It's all about what you, class students, want to learn. Ecozones. Our last definition for today in a way. An ecozone is defined as having natural features, okay, natural features and human activities together in a particular area. Okay, any area or zones, regions that has natural features and human activities is called an ecozone. You may ask, well, Jonathan, what does that mean? Well, it simply means this. It has one or main or couple characteristics in common. It could be the same vegetation, it could be the same population, but again, it often has one or more factors that makes it stand out. Okay, one defining factor that makes it stand out, but again, it needs to have a combination of natural features and human activities. Again, this starts on the bottom of page 48 in your textbook. Here in Canada, again, we have 15 land base. Again, as we extend coast to coast and northern regions, we have 15 land base altogether. but that doesn't include our marine base as well. So here in Canada, we have 5 marine-based ecozones. So in altogether, we have 20 ecozones, whether it's land-based or water-based, marine-based ecozones. In your textbook, it does show a map of all the different ecozones. Hopefully it's in color, if you can have access to a color printer. But again, it does have a map of all the marine-based and land-based ecozones here in Canada. As I move on to the next slide, boom, right there, you'll see a little map of all Canada's ecozones. You can simply Google Canada's ecozones. You can research more about which one you want to talk about. This section is very significant for your last question on assignment number 13. So going back to your workbook, okay, class, as you scroll down to the chart number 6, it says complete the chart on the next following page about any 4 marine or terrestrial ecozones of Canada. 3 marks each. So basically, in your textbook, for each ecozone, it states its name. You are to read it, research about it, find which one you find interesting. Sure, you can pick all 4 land-based or all 4 marine-based. It does not matter. The choice is yours. Okay, the choice is yours. This is a little opportunity for you to explore, research, use your critical thinking skills and your inquiry skills to find out which one you like best and which one you want to research about. So basically, in each column, you're basically to fill out each one. Class, feel free to use jot notes for this one. You don't have to write me a whole paragraph. Again, that's not the goal or purpose of this activity, but you're just pick any 4 you want. And again, tell me its name, location, its landform, its climate, types of animals that lives there, and if there are any human interference within that ecozone. So let's go back and we will explore together some of Canada's ecozones. Again, we're not going to sit here and go through each one because that's not the purpose of this activity, as we'll be here pretty much all day long, and we do not want to do that. So we're going to use some, okay? So again, the choice is yours. You don't have to use these examples. You could if you want to. But again, pick something that sounds interesting to you with something that relates to your community. Okay, whether it's land-based or marine-based. So let's see what I have chosen. Oh, look at that. I got the World Shield region. Okay, so basically, the World Shield region is Canada's largest ecozones. Again, using our legend here for a shield, it's this green, dark green one, which is pretty much right here. It's absolutely massive. It extends parts of Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, huge part of northern and central Ontario, and extends all the way into Quebec and into Newfoundland as well. So again, a big ecozone here in Canada. But as you can see on the screen, some are smaller than others as well. What makes the Boreal Shield unique is that it has short, warm summer and cold winter. Again, you can use that information and fill out your chart as well. It has lots of trees and forests such as spruce, pine, and birch tree. It has deer, black bear, raccoon, owls, and many, many more. Lots of freshwater lakes. Great for transportation, great for fishing, and great for outdoor recreational activities. So here in Sioux Lookout and even in Thunder Bay or down the road in Dryden, this is our ecozone, the Boreal Shield. Okay, the Boreal Shield. So basically, some of these characteristics may sound familiar based on a wildlife. It could be a moose, a bear, a deer. Again, lots of hunting, lots of fishing, outdoor activities. Again, that's what makes this ecozone very, very unique. You may not find the same animals or activities elsewhere. So again, each ecozone has something unique and different to offer. Let's do another example. The Hudson Plain. Okay. Hudson Plains. Where is it on our legend? It's right here. This yellow color, which means it is basically northern Ontario. Parts of Quebec and parts of Manitoba as well. Churchill, Fort Severn, that area. What makes the Hudson Plains unique is that it is very limited in terms of its vegetation. Not much grow there. Sure, you can try to plant something, but it will probably not grow. It does not have many trees, which means that it's pretty much open. Bitter cold. If you go there right now today, it's probably still cold there. It does have blueberries and white spruce. Geese, moose, bears are just some examples of wildlife. And it does have some wetlands as well. But again, very isolated, very cold. Polar bears, moose, bear, again, just to name a few. I think I have one more example, and I do. My next example, I think is my last one, is the Pacific Marine, which is a marine-based, water-based ecozone. Okay. As you know, we have here in Canada, we extend coast to coast. Okay, Atlantic, Pacific, Arctic Ocean. Again, you can find the Pacific Marine Ecozone out west in BC, Vancouver Island, Victoria, out there. Very rich, diverse, and ocean community, and it has lots of aquatic mammals as well. Seal, otter, whale, again, great for fishing, great for tourism, great for water recreational activities. What makes this ecozone unique is that it has overfishing. Okay, so there needs to be policy and regulation in play. Pollution, again, because of a lot of these activities, it has a lot of pollution, which affects and damage our aquatic mammals ecosystem, and habitats can be disturbed or destroyed as well. So again, that's just an example of a human interference. So again, just example of 3 ecozones over here in Canada. Again, class, your job is to pick any 4 you want. You don't have to use the one we have here in class. You can talk about others as well. Sure, you can talk about the mixed wood plains located in southern Ontario. But again, it is up to you. So let's go back and look at assignment number 13 questions in greater details. And hopefully it will give the class a chance to work on some of these questions as well. Again, call in the Wassa studio right now. Chat with us, say something, whether or not you're here with us or not. Again, we can work on some of these questions together, and that way you could be done with it and move on to your next assignment. So assignment number 13, again, same expectations, same guidelines, nothing new, nothing has changed. Out of 23 marks, question number 1, simply define what is a functional region. So I can start by saying a functional region is defined as ... Okay. State it again. Try not to copy word from word in your textbook. Try to absorb that knowledge, that definition, and try to put it into our own words. Okay? But again, like I said, feel free to use that information in your textbook. Feel free to use additional research. Again, just let me know where you found that information. Again, we don't want to just be copy and pasting, but again, we want to be able to summarize it and put it into our own words. Question number 2, explain the term weather and the term climate and why do they mean something different. Again, this is a 2-part question. So you're going to define weather, you're going to define climate, and you're going to tell me why they are different. Okay, why they are different. Just keep that in mind as well. Question 3 and 4 deals with trees. Again, what are the characteristics? Okay, so tell me list some examples of characteristics of a coniferous tree, and what are some characteristics of a deciduous tree? Again, 2 marks each. Question 5, what is an ecozone? Again, you can say an ecozone is defined as having natural features and human activities at the same time or together in a particular area or a place. Okay, something like that would definitely give you full marks for sure. And lastly, number 6, again, is that chart. Again, do your best to fill out the chart. Again, feel free to use jot notes just for this chart only. Okay, for everything else, sentences, details, but for this chart, feel free to use jot notes. I know there's not much space on it. Feel free to use the back of it if you like. But again, make sure you do your best to answer all those questions. Again, reminder, PLAR students, it is not how we do on their assignments. Again, your task here is to attempt all questions on their assignments. What actually counts is your test mark, which is at the end. So once you have completed all assignments, attempted all questions, there's no problems, you can then write your final tests, and then the test is a pass or fail situation. Again, all you need is 50%, and then if you do, you will successfully get your credit that you're missing for these courses. Alrighty. So again, we do have a couple of minutes in class. Use those class time right now to work on these questions. Let me know if you have any questions. If you want to hear a song, let me know. We can make a request out. We can have that done next class. Again, just keep working on these assignments. Before we call it a day, next class this coming Thursday, same place, same time, here at 4 to 5 p.m. local time, Central Time, that is. We will look at a more current theme, such as global warming and climate change. Okay, believe it or not, global warming and climate change means something two complete different things. If you want to know what they mean and how they're different, tune into class on Thursday live, and we will learn about the difference between global warming and climate change. We will give evidence, data to suggest it is true. Whether you believe it or not, there are evidence out there to support it. We'll also be looking at climates, the Kyoto Protocol, but mainly focus on global warming, climate change. What is it? How does it cost? How can we fix it? What can we do? And etc. So that's the game plan. That's the agenda for next class live right here once again this coming Thursday. And since we're at it, the following week we'll wrap things up by looking at pollution, conservation, latitude and longitude, and boom, we're done. We're done for this term. And then the following week we'll flip back to history and we'll explore history once again from the very top, started in the early 1900s and go from there. Our last term for the year, term 2B. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's keep working on these assignments. Whether you're ahead or a little bit behind, just keep working on it. Again, these assignments should not take you too long. For example, this assignment number 13, should take you about, again, I would say about half an hour, 20 minutes to work on these questions. Question number 6, the chart might take you a bit more time to explore, but again, everything else is pretty straightforward. Nothing new. It's the same thing as defining a definition. Again, if you're stuck and need help, just let me know. I'm here to help. That's what I'm here for. But again, do your best to just make time and work on these assignments. All right. I think I'm going to leave it off here for today. Again, thank you so much for listening, either on your drive home, on the radio, at home, or in your community, or again on Parts Unknown. Thank you so much. You have been fantastic. Really appreciate it. But again, keep working on your assignments for my students. And I'll stop it for today. Again, up next, Doug is back again with his other course. And I'll see everyone and hear everyone back here live again on Thursday, same time, 4 p.m. Central Time. Thank you. Have a good day.